Hey guys, Marsing here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so in a couple of days time, the new Extreme Z area stages for the Majin Buu Saga Extreme Z area are going to be dropping. And that of course brings us the EZA'S for the Tech Supreme Kais, the Int Gohan and Videl, and then the Tech Saiyan Man 1 and 2 that transform into just Great Saiyan Man. The 3 stages get added. The friend lead is going to be an EZA version of the Gohan and Videl. They have a Majin Buu Saga lead. So if we scroll up and look at the... Oh, let's scroll down, sorry. Look at the stages here. All of the units that you can use are all various Majin Buu Saga units. And they're not all free to play. So for people who do have quite a stacked box, there are a lot of units in here that you can just bring along to make things a little bit easier for you. So definitely one of the easier Extreme Z areas. For each of the stages, you obviously have to bring the unit who is being Extreme Z awakened, but yet they also make you bring one of the other ones as well. So make sure you have all 3 of these guys ready to go. If the story events aren't up right now, one of the things you can always do if you want to prepare is use keys in order to farm up the copies. Obviously, you want to make sure you have a secondary copy at SA5 ready to feed in once you've done the EZA. There's no point wasting Kais on very easily farmable free-to-play units. I always joke about the fact that sometimes I will use Kais on like Prime Battle LRs and stuff just because I have so many of them, but when it comes to these guys, farming up 5 extra copies and the medals doesn't really take a huge amount of time. And the whole purpose of these videos, I always put them out like a day or 2 before the EZAs come out, because then it means if you've got nothing to do in the game at the moment, then you can go ahead and farm up these extra copies of these units. It gives you something to do, and then once the Extreme Z area stage comes out and you fully EZA'd the unit, you already have that thing ready to feed in, put them straight up to SA15, and then you could get straight into like play testing them or whatever you want to do without having to then go off and farm the extra copies. So you want to make sure you get these guys done, and then yeah, the variety of units you could use makes this very, very easy. So very, very straightforward Extreme Z area. Also, I did have somebody ask me before, so just to randomly point out for those of you who don't know, when you do the Extreme Z area for these, you get the specific medals by going on the specific paths. So in the first stage, the left path is always these medals and the right path is always these. So usually the way it works is you have to go both paths 3 times. And then if you get a question mark appear, it's going to be a set of these, one or the other. And it basically makes up for like a whole run, basically. So if you've already done 3 runs on the white one, and then you get this, and it's the bronze ones, then, or sorry, I guess the medals are bronze. It says bronze and then silver. The medals are in the different coloured capsules. So when you look at this, it's really off, like, it throws you off in your brain because it says bronze and that's clearly white, and then that says silver and that's clearly bronze. So what I do, if you want to get maximum efficiency, is take it in turns to go on the 2 paths, because the last thing you want, you don't want to get all 3 of these first, and then on the 4th run you get a question mark and it gives you the white capsules, because you've just picked up all the white capsules that you need. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then if anywhere along the way you get one of these, you can just cancel out one of those runs, and it makes it way easier. And then you can do that for the second one as well. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, that makes it way easier. So on to the units themselves. So the Tech Supreme Kais. These guys are actually pretty good. So they have free-to-play Realm of Gods lead, 77% to all stats and 3 key. Tech type secondary with 50%. They do supreme damage to the enemy and raise super class allies attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn. So obviously the earlier they super, the better for everybody else on the rotation. They get key +1, attack and defense 30% per Realm of Gods ally on the team. So straight away, you can see that you're basically only going to be running them on Realm of Gods, realistically, or like a Patara team where there are a lot of Realm of Gods units, right? Because there is no cap, so if you have the full team, then obviously the full buff for this is like 210%, right, including the friend, because you have 7 Realm of Gods units. So that is pretty good. And then Superclass Allies, key 1, attack and defense 20%. So remember, they get that as well. Guards all attacks within the same turn as the first attacker in the turn, plus recovers 15% HP at the end of the turn in which attack was received. So whilst it does still have the annoying first attacker in the turn, which means it doesn't activate until they get to attack, they have put some decent design into this unit to use as a first slot unit, because whilst they have to take those hits off just their raw numbers before they get to attack, they are going to have like 210% defense plus the 20% from their support. Then they're going to attack, which then activates guard for any of the rest of the attacks for the turn, and then they heal you 15% at the end of the turn. So the only way this goes really badly is if the first attack of the turn that they take is a super attack, and then obviously they could take quite a lot of damage. But they are designed to be very good in slot 1. The only downside is their link set, so they're going to link up better with other like Kai units, like Supreme Kai of Time, some of the like Whis units and stuff. They do have a couple of links that some of the God Saiyans will share, although I think it might literally only be Godly Power and then any of them that have Shattering the Limit. So that's the only downside. They're a support unit, so that helps, but they don't link super well with a lot of the units that you might want to run on the team. But they're a pretty fun unit. I'll probably do a level 10 link showcase for them, so they are interesting to say the least. Then we have the Int Gohan and Videl, the like learning to fly event one. So they're a BUU Saga lead for 77% and 3 key. Like I said, they're the friend lead for the Extreme Z area stages, because all the units you have to use are Majin BUU Saga units. They do supreme damage to the enemy and raise attack for 9 turns, so this can stack multiple times. They get attack and defense 158%. Defense 20% with each attack performed up to 58, so they have to do this 3 times. Great chance of launching up to 2 additional attacks, each of which has a great chance of becoming a super. So very good for RNG additional kind of passive. 70% to launch each attack, and then each one of the 2 attacks has a 70% chance to become a super. So you don't need to get super unrealistic RNG for them to fairly regularly triple super. And then, of course, they can additional from their hidden potential as well. So you're going to see them attack 4 times, even if they're not all super attacks. You're going to see them attack 4 times in a turn very regularly. So a lot of the times, this is going to be fully built up in their first turn. So they're going to be having this up to 58%. They're going to just get 3 attacks in the first turn. So then their defense could be pretty good, and then they're stacking up their attack multiple times. There's nothing more complicated than that. They're not like a super overly complicated unit, but they're pretty decent after Easy A, to be honest. Their links are not the best. They definitely will work well on Videl's team, for sure. They're on joint forces, of course, as well. So overall, they're a solid unit. I think they're going to be interesting. But again, I feel like they fit more into that slot of being just a solid free-to-play option, that if you're running one of these teams and you don't have a lot of options, they can slot in there nicely. But like something like Majin BUU Saga has so many options now. I don't know if you're really going to be running them on there, but they are a good card to fit into Defenders of Justice and join forces with a bunch of the other like Videl and Gohan, like Saiyan Man cards and stuff. So they are very, very solid. And then, of course, speaking of Saiyan Man, the other one is the Great Saiyan Man 2/1. I like how they have differently named versions of Great Saiyan Man 1 and 2, because like these guys have a different name to the free-to-play friend LR, for example, so you can run them together. So they're a special pose lead for 77% stats and 3 key, subtype for tech and 50%. Their super attack is supreme damage to the enemy and lowers attack and defense. Then their passive skill is attack and defense 150%, high chance of evading enemies' attacks, plus defense 50% when performing a super, attacked enemies attack minus 20% for 2 turns, and then special pose allies 3 key, attack and defense 30%. Now I remember when Videl first came out, and obviously people were memeing about the fact that while she's very good in her best case scenario, she doesn't have a lot of great link partners, she's not on a lot of great teams where you'd want to run the units that work well with her. These guys were actually a really decent support unit for her. They work well on her team because a lot of units on her team are on special pose. They have some similar links. And so having the high chance to evade enemies' attacks is pretty good. 50% chance to dodge. So they're very capable as a support unit, especially because they get 50% extra defense when performing a super. So post-super attack, their defense is going to be pretty solid. So they very much are a unit that you're going to want to run in slot 3, just there to support the team, basically. So another very solid unit. The 2 Gohan and Videl cards, I think, are very good and can work well on the few teams where you can find the space for them. I think these guys are the ones that I'm looking forward to using the most because, like I said, whilst they don't link super well with some of the other units you might bring on a Realm of Gods team, that doesn't matter quite so much when they're a slot 1 unit. And they give themselves 1 key, as well as the 30% attack and defense. So on a Realm of Gods team, they're just going to have full key at the start. So it doesn't matter that they're not linking well for themselves. And then whoever you put in slot 2 is going to have the benefit of whichever unit is in slot 3 to get a lot of their links. So a unit that doesn't have a ton of links but is providing support isn't the worst thing in the world if they're designed to be in slot 1 or 3, because the other units on the rotation can just get their links with the other unit that they're with. So let me know what you guys think down below. Which of the 3 units is the most interesting to you? Obviously you should go ahead and do the Extreme Z areas and farm up the cards anyway if you haven't already, because you do get a couple of stones out of doing it. Although of course Extreme Z areas do cost stamina, so for people with a lower overall stamina bar, you'll probably spread this out over a little while rather than just barreling through the whole thing in one go. But let me know which of these 3 units you are most interested for when they come out. So let me know down below if you've got them all farmed up already. What's your plan when it comes to these units? All your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.